Welcome, class, to the Intro to Java Programming. This is the fourth of 6 lessons on operators. Today we will review the logical operators along with code examples. Operators are used to perform operations on variables and values. Those operations can be in the form of expressions or conditions. Expressions can produce a value, assign a value, and possibly do nothing, like in the case of a void method call. A condition is used in a decision process to determine if the evaluation of two expressions are true or false. One example could be, is 3 greater than 2? This is a true condition. In this lesson, we will focus on evaluating 2 or more conditions. Let's go over the 3 logical operators. Double ampersand symbols are used to represent an AND. Double pipe symbols are used to represent an OR. The pipe symbol is typically found on the keyboard by the backslash key above the return. And the exclamation mark is used to represent a not. And, or, and not are logical operators that allow you to evaluate 2 conditions. It might seem confusing at first, but let's go over a few examples. Remember, a condition consists of a relational operator like greater than, and an expression on the left like strike count, and an expression on the right like 2. This condition is used to determine if the batter has struck out. The result is either true or false. Let's simplify a condition from 2 expressions separated by a relational operator down to the result, true or false. A logical operator is meant to evaluate 2 conditions. Let's start with a diamond that represents the result of a logical condition. We have a condition on the left, there will be a condition on the right, and we can evaluate the condition with a logical AND. Here are the rules for a logical AND. For the logical AND to return true, both conditions must be true. If either condition is false, the result of the logical condition is false. Looking at this example, the left condition is true, the right condition is false. The result of this matrix for the row is false. That means the result of this logical condition is false. We can also evaluate these conditions with a logical OR. There will be a condition on the left and a condition on the right. They will be separated by a logical OR. For the logical OR to be true, one or both conditions must be true. Only when both conditions are false is the logical OR false. The result of the matrix for this row is true. The result of this condition will be true. Time for a Coach Joe challenge question. This might help you understand logical operators. Given the 7 days of a week, is today a weekend? Correct. It is a weekend if today is Saturday or Sunday. You just used a logical OR in your answer. Check it out. This is not actual Java code, but you get the idea. The first condition is today equal to Saturday? The second condition, is today equal to Sunday? You separated these conditions with an OR. The answer for is today a weekend is the result of 2 conditions separated by a logical operator. If one or both of these conditions are true, then it is a weekend. If both conditions are false, it is not a weekend. Time for another Coach Joe challenge question. Given the 7 days of the week, use the word not in the answer. Is today a weekday? Both answers are correct. One possible solution used the not equal relational operator. You could also use the not around the condition, like is today equal to Sunday? Since today is not Saturday and today is not Sunday, it must be a weekday. The other solution uses a logical not. If we look at the previous answer, is today a weekend, we came up with today equals Saturday or today equals Sunday. If you put a logical not in front of this condition, it reverses the answer, which works for is today a weekday. It is the opposite of is today a weekend. You have seen a few examples of logical operators. Let's take a look at some examples in code. Let's go to our basics project in IntelliJ, close any open class tabs. Let's navigate to the operators test package. Let's create a new class called logical test. This first test will show the use of 2 expressions and a logical AND. 73 greater than or equal to 0 will be true. 42 less than 100 will also be true. When using a logical AND, both conditions must be true for the logical condition to be true. Let's run this test to prove the result is true. It passes. Here is the same test without the need to calculate the expressions. For most of the remaining tests, we will represent each expression with a true or false to simplify the code. With both conditions true, this logical AND should be true. Let's run this test. And it passes. Here are 3 more tests for the logical AND. One or both conditions will have a false. The result of these tests will be false. Let's run each test. This one passes. This one passes. And this one passes. Here is a test that shows the use of 2 expressions with a logical OR. 73 equals 0 is a false condition. 42 less than 100 will be a true condition. When using a logical OR, if either condition is true, the logical condition will be true. Let's run this test to prove the result is true. It passes. Here are 3 tests for the logical OR. One or both conditions will have a true. The result of these tests will be true. Let's run each test. This one passes. This one passes. And this one passes. This test will show a logical OR where both conditions are false. With both conditions false, the result of this logical OR will be false. Let's run this test. And it passes. The next 2 tests will show the use of the logical NOT. With this test, there is a logical condition we are testing, false or false. The result of this condition is false. Outside the parentheses is a logical NOT. This means the result of the condition is reversed. Since false or false is false, the NOT reverses the result, making it true. Let's run this test. And it passes. On this test, we use a logical NOT on one of the internal conditions of the logical condition. Not false will be true. The logical condition is now true or false. The result is true. Let's run this test. It passes. Here's a summary of all the test code we wrote. You should now have an understanding of the 3 logical operators, AND, OR, and NOT. Logical operators are used to evaluate the results of 2 conditions. In the next lesson, we'll discuss bitwise operators. Remember, future senior developers, make it work, prove it works, then make it better. Ready? Break!